Our name is going far and wide. Far and wide. Ooh, there we go. Let's go to the building we've come across. Village. Are we in the inn? Or a mill? The mill slowly grinds away at a trough of grain.
See now what the flame has shown us?
Save it. Anything? Can't remember the last time we had a healthy birth in the village. Have you been to the Vines Bay? I heard there's no Hollowborn there. Oh, that's not true. Do I go down or do... Oh, damn Galloway for monsters like that. And damn the rest of the gods, too. Who are you? Piglet. Rumbald. A man paces angrily in front of the wrecked animal pen. His sun-weathered face twists with ire. He's so wrapped up in his fury that he doesn't seem to notice you. But first, we know Stormwall Gorge is not. First, Ani needed to go. Galloway's slobbering beast, blazing bloody effigy, Christ damn salty wench in her soggy. Wow. What's wrong? The monster stole my pigs. Tripped into the village, tore down my pen, and made off with the whole damn herd. Just left a few little runts, and what am I supposed to do with them? Calm down and tell me what happened. He bites his lip and closes his eyes. His nostrils flare with each quick, angry breath. Wife's always telling me to mind my temper. Just breathe deep and count to 10. He sighs. An ogre moved into the area not long ago. Folk have been seeing glimpses of tracks out in the woods. But it seems to be staying away from town, or so we all thought until it made off with my pigs. Not everyone's afraid it's going to develop a taste for kith, if it hasn't already. Did you see the ogre take your pigs? What else would have destroyed my pen and made off with my herd? Oh, it's not that bad. And at the same time, the rest of the village is seeing a 10-foot monster in the forest. I know it's too late to get my pigs back, but it set my mind at ease to see the thing's head strung from its neck. In fact, you bring its ugly pet to me, and I trade you for something that's of less use to a farmer like me than to a rowdy looking sort like yourself. What do you know about the ogre? The white that wins. Huh? I think that's where we're from, isn't it? I guess they don't have those where you come from, do they? Okay, it is. It's the same as any other, I'm sure. A big, ugly son of a bitch with a nasty temper and an appetite to match. Tigra will tell you more. He claims I've seen it in the woods. You can find him in his shop right by the broken tower. Need something. I've been sent to find a Arlen named Nefri. Know where she is? Never heard of her. You're lying. Well, maybe. Sure. You don't know if it's the actual. You don't know if it's the ogre. That Lord staying there in Drakeson has just about won his welcome.
Light, flame, and sound. We'll keep to ourselves.
Another freaking guard. I'm not. The fact it's interesting that it's stealing out here. This is the first, I think, area where being outside in the city, the inn, is actually stealing. You must have seen something. I don't suppose you've seen a young elven noblewoman around these parts? You guys know something. When the Lars have problems, they blame House Kit. Typical. Normally a well always has secrets. Alright, the inn we go. That Lord'll have bigger problems if his guards keep pushing us around. Oh boy, that's not good. The portrait depicts a man and a woman dressed in a deer garb that would have been in style a century ago. The heavy frame has been battered, and the plate has once bore a patriot's name has been scratched out. They share a passionate embrace, which seems at odds with disgust on their faces. Oh, huh. This table has been scarred and stained from decades of use. Sid, oh, there are some names. That's the Lord.
To find her. Surely even you can understand that.
We're decent folk, my lord. Perhaps you should leave and check the wilds.
Okay, they do not like them here. Sid, save it.
Good day to you.
A redhead stands by the fire, turning her lute and plucking its strings. She hums snatches of a melody as she goes. First time at the Dracosen? Dracogen. Normally, I'll have a song ready, but I haven't quite worked out this tune yet. I'm writing some chants about the founding of this inn. Say, you interested in the story? I haven't finished the chants, but I could tell you about it all the same. Sure, let's have it. It was built in the time of Hadred's rebellion, and a daring lady, Thainu, once had a keep here. One of the towers still stands, but the rest is said to be buried under the village. Interesting. Anyway, she stuck to the side of the Empire, and a contingent of Duke Hadred's Knights of the Crucible helped the farmers and the colonists in the area turn her keep to rubble. This inn was the first building that sprang up from that ruin, built with some of the same bricks the colonists have pulled from the Lady Thainu's castle, they say. Supposedly, the quarterstaff of her chief wizard even got lost in the construction, mortared into a wall or nailed under a floorboard. Anyway, the inn was supposed to be a haven, and a meeting place while the locals built their new town. What do you mean supposed to be? Drywoodens are an ornery lot, and the more these new neighbors met, the more they argued. They realized they didn't agree on much besides ousting the old lord. The biggest divide was over the Glyphanthins and their nearby ruins. Hadred Knights and their supporters wanted to keep the peace, and a group of misfits and more anarchaic leanings that had formed in town wanted to go after the tribes the same way they're going after their lord. Soon, the villagers were fighting with each other as much as with the adherents. In the end, memories of the Broken Stone War and the War of the Black Trees were fresh enough that the Duke's soldiers won the day. Most of the other villagers came around eventually, but some of the core troublemakers left to join the front lines of the War of Defiance. And others, I've heard, found their way into the guided compass, and most forward-looking of the Glyphanthin tribes. I don't know if I believe that part myself, but it makes a good story. She points to the east wall. There's a portrait of one of the chief rabble-rousers and its rival in the peacekeeping factions. Someone's idea of a joke. I don't think they were particularly amused. Tell me about the War of the Black Trees. We've read about this as well. It started back in the colonial days, almost 30 years after the Broken Stone War. Even though isolated conflict still broke out between the settlers and the Glyphanthins, both sides had already agreed to peace. Ingrid Hadred Adameth's father was Gruff at the time. A part of the peace negotiations, he signed treaties prohibiting Adarian colonists from looting Engwinthan ruins. However, he'd been unable to outlaw the use of captured Glyphathan slaves. And the Gruff is the governor of a colony and is subservient to the Adarian emperor. The early leaders of the Adarian colony in the Drywood, including Edarin and Adamant Hadrat, were Gruffs. At the start of the War of Defiance, Adamant Hadrat declared himself Duke of the independent Drywood rather than Gruff of the Emperor's colony. It was the same term used for leaders of the newly independent Valian republics. Anyway, we haven't had a Gruff since. I see. Indeed, the taking of Glyphathan slaves had continued to be a source of conflict. It came to a head when Imperial agents, aided by certain earls in the Drywood, began looting the ruins again. See, the Empire had never actually agreed to Hadrat's treaties on the matter, and the recent secession of the Valian republics likely left them eager to weaken Hadrat's position. The looting sparked brutal slave uprisings and a guerrilla campaign among the Glyphathans. Edarin Hadrat was too old to lead forces into battle, and so he sent his son, Adameth. Adameth made a costly but effective decision that ended the war faster than anyone could have imagined. He burnt the forest near the Icing River to keep the Glyphathan war bands from retreating. Thousands of Glyphathans died, and as Adameth repeated his scorched earth tactics in the following months, he was down the remainder of their forces. To this day, over 150 years later, there are still sections of the dry woods where the trees are nothing but bare, charred trunks. Oh, as you can see, dry woods full of history, even in little villages like this and the Broken Stone War. It's a lot of reading. This was the first major conflict between the original Adarian settlers and the Glyphathans. Happened 3 years into colonization when some farmers knocked over an Adra menhir that was part of the Engwinthan ruin. I guess it's good for people who don't read like the books or anything. Different way to learn the history. And technically, I still haven't read everything about Adamant Hadrat because I know the dry woodlands. Oh, did I get part 1? I don't think I did. I just have part 2 of the Adamant thing. The war didn't last long, but it spread quickly and claimed thousands. In the early weeks, most of the colonists didn't even realize there was a war going on until the Glyphathan raiders hit their villages. There had been small, spontaneous skirmishes between the colonists and the locals before then, but this was organized, and it was the start of decades of violence between the colonists and the Glyphathans. Actually, that's not what I save it.
Good day, stranger.
Let's have it. You were supposed to continue. And what's a lady Thainu? A Thainu is a man or woman who's part of the military elite, a knight, if you will. Typically, the position is inherited. A Lord Thane or Lady Thainu owns land and also commands several unlanded thanes. The woman who last held the keep here came from a long line of landed thanes. But something went wrong. Drywoodians are an ornery lot, and the more these new neighbors met, the more they argued. They realized they agreed on much besides ousting the old lord. They didn't agree on much besides ousting the old lord. The biggest divide was over the Glyphathans and their nearby ruins. Hadrat Knights and their supporters wanted to keep the peace, but a group of misfits with more anarchic leanings that had formed in the town wanted to go after the tribes the same way they'd gone after their lord. Soon the villagers were fighting with each other as much as with the Adarians. In the end, memories of the Broken Stone War and the War of the Black Trees were fresh and we've done that. Farewell.
Hail and well met.
Sure. Go on. Oh, never mind. Same thing. Okay. Save it. Hadron's men have already asked us about the girl. What more do they want? Eorn? Why, it's you. Thank you, friend. You're giving me another chance, and I mean to make the most of it. I've been telling everyone around here how you help. I don't even remember who you are. Who are you? Eorn. Save it. Will you be mad if I do this?
Nice and quiet.
Heavy, sweet perfume emanates from the barrels. The stave joints are stained dark brown and dull purple. Paste. What are you doing in the kitchen? Dungler, get you started out with food and drink. Okay, that actually makes a lot of sense. All right, Dingler.
Hello.
The innkeeper digs inside a mug with a dirty rag. His eyes under his thick brows are tired but watchful. He gives you a quick nod as you approach the bar. Don't see many travelers these days. Something I can do for you. What was your exchange with the nobleman about? He looks up from polishing his tankard and glowers at the Lord. Folk around here is decent. They mind their own business. You want to stick your nose in it? Go talk to him yourself. I have questions about Dryford. He runs his rag around the rim of the mug, asks, who lives here? Not many anymore. Hard to keep people around when everyone's been birthing Hollowborn. But we got a few who stick around and do business. Tigrus the leather courier. Henyans crafts potions, and Winfrith trades in general goods. Rumble is a pig farmer, or was anyway. Oh yeah, he's mad about the pig. Something happened to his pig. Ogre carried them off. Now he squeals more than his herd ever did. He shrugs. It's rotten luck. And Winfrith? Been around even longer than I have. Nice enough fellow, but never could find his way to in the vicinity. His shop's across the square. Hendaya? Lady's clever hand with potions and poultices. Got herself into trouble with a nest of worms, so I hear. Her cart's on the east of the town. Tell me about Targil. He's a courier. Treats leather and makes armor and a few other goods with it. Problem is, the smell of tallow and deer shit tends to put people off their food, and his shop's right next door. Have more questions? You say you don't see any travelers. Of course not. Why would they come here? We got bandits on the road and an ogre in the forest. As that yapping fool Ramdo will tell you. Worse yet, hasn't been a healthy child born here in over a year. Most kid that come here is just passing through. Oh, I wonder. Oh, about the ogre. You don't hardly see him this close in town. Ogres and kids don't mix well. Ugly bastards, but they're smart enough to know that much. You want to know more? Talk to Rumbold. His farm's southwest of here. Tell me about the village. Walk from one bridge to the next and you've seen it. We're quiet, hard-working folk. We keep to ourselves and don't take to being pushed around. He glares at the well-dressed man standing off to the side. Used to be a castle here, built by some family of daring things back when the Empire first came. Only one tower still standing, but that's part of Tiger's shop now. Sid, that boy about the fire, could spin you the yarn if you're so inclined. Have you seen the Arlen named Nifri? He jerks his head at the stairs. Twitchy lady, that one. Never mind, I need to talk about something else. Food and drinks. I really want this, but I need to learn how to make it. Sure. Not yet. The stew. Chicken, obviously. Perception, endurance, why not? 336. That should be everything you have. It is. It's milk. Sure. 402. Retrain, party, recruit, store. And if we sleep, might damage against beasts. Oh, that actually makes sense for if we go in the forest. Intellect might. Okay. Did it actually? Oh, I hate that. There we go. Endurance and might. There we go. Perception. Reduction. You and you. There you go. And wait. Not sure. Okay. Oh, did not realize that. Save it. The guard keeps his eye on the door. If you have information about Lord Ailish, you should speak to Lord Heron. What is this? The scolder head looks as old as the inn. Its leathery skin is cracked and bleached from your years of exposure. Safe. Oh, we gained reputation. A minor already? Don't know why. I guess talking to him. Lord Heron. The man wears a deer-styled robe, simple but elegant. His fine leather shoes looks like they're made of padding. Looks like they were made for padding around indoors, yet they're cracked with mud. He yanks at a lock of hair twined around his silk-gloved finger. His fine features are etched with anxiety.
My child is out there. Do they not understand?
Also, you're actually looking for. I thought you were maybe lying. Okay.
My lord, we're doing everything we can. Unfortunately, these villagers...
Beasts take them all. I don't care how you do it, but find her.
He jerks a few strands from his head. I heard you were arguing with the innkeeper.
A pretty small-minded man, just like the rest of them around here. I've been paying him an honest fee for board and bed, and yet he can't be bothered to stir himself to concern for my Alice.
Perception. Actually, he seemed angry with you.
People from these backwater villages take offense for sport. You have to but show up with a full coin purse, and they'll hear insult in the jingle of your step. They forget that Duke Hadret came from the privileged classes, as did all of the other earls and lords who financed the rebellion they're so proud of. I've asked around, but nobody in this mud hole has any concerns beyond their swine. They turn my men away like beggars and seem downright pleased to be of no use. But you're not one of my soldiers. And you look like you're used to getting your hands dirty, if you don't mind my saying so.
His guard leans in. My lord, Heron raises a hand to silence the man. If you find her, he nibbles the thumb of one silk glove. Tell her I won't be upset with her. She can come back and all will be well. I just want to make sure my Ellis, my child, is safe. Nothing in the world is more important to me. Let me ask a few questions about your daughter. Elise.
Of course.
Describe her. She's a striking young woman. Bears no resemblance to her mother than to me. Bears more to her mother than to me. She has auburn hair and delicate, wide-bred features. She must be, 28 or 29 now. And why did she come to Dryford? It was merely a stop along the way to Ines Rest. However, she took ill shortly before our arrival. so it seemed prudent to allow her a few days to recover. What's Ina's rest? Oh, he frowns as if about to protest, but he gives in with a sigh. Lady Elise has reached an age where it's prudent for her to marry. Given this legacy's business, I can't leave her. I can't let her wait. I'm already. I can't let her fertile years slip by, nor do I want her womb to fester in the presence of so many hollowborn. Until it seems there will be more potential suitors in New Hamor, or New Yarma. You think I haven't considered that? Arranging the suitable match is difficult. The best prospects for my child to lay in Ina's rest. And where's the rest of your family? Surely they wouldn't want to miss your daughter's betrothal. Lady Herond is ill-suited to travel, I'm afraid, and unfortunately, I forgot already. I forgot. Has few other close relatives. Her sister and her husband, Alice, aunt and uncle, of course, have been visiting Adair these past months. He rubs his knuckles, and as for siblings, Alice has none. My wife has only given birth to Hollowborn since Alice, that is. All right, going back to your daughter. What about her? Tell me about her disappearance. We stopped in Dryford for a few days. On our fourth evening here, I was making plans to continue our journey. Elise. Lady Elise was feeling unwell and went to bed. When I retired a few hours later, I found that she had vanished. None of my men had seen her go, and none of the inn knew where she was. Since then, my people have been combing the village, but we've yet to find a clue. And the locals have been no help. All right. Tell me about yourself. I don't trust you.
Harrond of Defiance Bay. My family has been prominent there since Imperial times. Our primary estate is on the outskirts of Brackenbury, but we have holdings in New Hamor as well. Those went to my sister and her husband.
Something's not right. Maybe I should learn something useful by asking around. Save it. The guard. He eyes you carefully. Glad we have someone else looking for a lady. I don't know. At least. The sooner we find her and the sooner we can find her and get out of here, the better. You seem eager to leave Dryford. Who wouldn't be? The whole village smells like wet leather and pig shit. And the locals have nothing but contempt for anyone who bathes more than once a year. He shakes his head. They won't lift a finger to find Lady Elise, but it raises their hackles when we go looking for her. Tell me about Lady Elise. He shifts his weight. What's there to say? She's a lovely girl, quiet, keeps to herself. She'd make any father proud. You don't seem to know her that well. Perception. My primary duties are the Lord Herond. What do you think happened? He scratches his head. Could be a lot of things. The locals here don't seem to realize her dress rebellion ended 150 years ago. Crowing about the castle they tore down and built their village over. I wouldn't put something like that past them, he shrugs. If I knew anything concrete, we'd have found her by now. That's fair. Save it. I don't trust you, but...
And what does
Let's go upstairs to find this girl, Nethys, or whatever the name is. Because we know they're lying about whoever she is. The painting depicts a forested ravine somewhere in the living lands. Oh, this painting portrays the expansive foothills below the mountains of the White Marsh. Who's coming up the stairs? Hooded man. That's hard save. Before entering room and in. It's not him, don't worry. Okay, interesting. Let's take that off. The Arlen hovers by the window, peering out of it every few seconds. As you enter the room, she watches you carefully, her hand hovering over her stiletto. She cranes her head to peer behind you. Anyone follow you? Who sent you? Someone told me you were... what are you talking about? The man leans against the wall, glances out the door, and nods to the Arlen. The hand over her weapon relaxes, but she's still watching you carefully. Some old friends from Defiance Bay are looking for me. We're not exactly friends anymore, if you catch my drift. I'm not trying to lie low and mind. I'm just trying to lie low and mind my own business. Know what I mean, boss? And Omawa looks at the Arlen and jerks his head at you. All right, all right. She raises her hand to the Omawa before turning back to you. My friend here thinks you can maybe help us out. Now, I'm sure you're a busy woman, so I'll make it worth your while. She flips you a few coins. I'll go take a look around. Just go take a look around town. Come back and let me know if the coast is clear or if you see any suspicious figures. Someone told me you were responsible. Oh, you gave us 125. Someone told me you were responsible for heinous killings in Defiance Bay. Let me guess. Was that someone named Medrith? She draws her stiletto. It's a lie, plain and simple. I got on the wrong side of his employers, and now he's after me. But if you're here to do his dirty work, I won't make it easy for you. Relax. I just want to hear your side of the story. What story? The Dominels. Oh, we have killed them. Most of them. The Dominels came after me. I just happened to. So yeah, whatever you did, ma'am, you were in the right. They were in the wrong. Came after me. I just happened to rob the wrong place. How was I supposed to know they already claimed it? She ran her hands under her hood and through her hair. It was an honest mistake. I'm just trying to survive now. And if you spoke with Madrid, you know what he's waiting. You know where he's waiting. Please help me get out of here. West towards the temple? Nah, that's a lie. Go east. Major's waiting for you just west of the river. She nods slowly. All right, I'm trusting you. Don't have much choice. See if you can send him the other way. That should buy me some time. She follows the hooded figures towards the stairs, giving you a final uncertain glance as she pushes through the door. Cat and mouse. Yeah, we can send him on the other side.
Easy does it.
She's not even here. There we go. Ooh, finally, part 1. Finally. Oh, man, I needed that. Adamant Hadret, part 1. Rise to Power. Little could one know that the man who once destroyed part of his own country with fire would become the Drywood's most beloved leader. Martyred in the world, he started to free his people from an oppressive rule. There isn't a Drywood who doesn't know of or revere Admet for what he did. Strangely, even though there are records of his father Enrin's childhood, and even though he was raised in nobility in the Drywood, while it was still a dear territory, information about Adamant's early years is nearly impossible to find. Adamant is not known for his childhood, though. He is known for saving Drywood and uniting it with its sworn enemy, the Gothathans. In 2552 AI, Drywooden troubles with their Farkany were at a boiling point. Several of the earls under Edarin's rule, provoked by the imperial court in the Deer, resumed looting the ruins around Drywood that the Gothathans had held sacred. When the Gothathans finally retaliated, it was overwhelmingly brutal and resulted in a slave uprising. Galvin raged. whom Edorin had fought before, resumed control of the Gfathan troops. Reg was also able to convince some Delegmen to join the fight. Edorin was at the point far too old to lead his forces into battle, so he sent his son Adamet in his place to contain the threat. Adaman, true to form as the king of Edorin, as the son of Edorin, obviously having learned tactics from his father, made a dangerous but effective tactical decision. In order to prevent Reg's troops from using the woods as cover and keep them from advancing through his land, set fire to the forest as tributary of the Isguar River, and positioned his troops to prevent any of the Gfathan forces from retreating. This tactic proved to be effective. While some Gfathans and Delicmen were able to escape, thousands died. In the skirmish that followed, Galvin Reg was captured and sent to be held New Hilmar. Adamet was able to do what his father spent decades trying to do. He stopped Galvin Reg. The conflict with the Gfathans continued for several months, and Adamet repeated the scorched earth tactic several times to flush the opposing forces from key battlefields. He was able to bring the conflict to an end before the year ended. While it was a win for the Dry Woodens, it was very costly as well. Because of his tactics, the conflict earned the name the War of the Black Trees. After Edorin's death in 2654, Adamet became the gruff of the Dry Wood, to the dismay of the imperial court and the other earls. Over the course of the next year, they defied his rule at every turn, rebuking his decrees and countermanding his directives. In 2655 AI, Adamet had had enough. Even though he lacked support from most of the earls, he was admired by both the valiant dukes and all the common folk. Backed by this support, he issued an ultimatum to the Farrakonin to anoint him a gruff palatine. The Farrakoning, unwilling to deal with the rebellion while trying to establish a new Voros trade in Ria Terris, agreed. Adamet then held authority and legal power over the earls, their holdings, and their titles. The Dry One was no longer a Gruffim, but instead was a Palatinate. The change reduced the Farrakonin power over the region. With his new power, Adamet quickly brought the rebellion earls into line. But in exchange for the power, Adamet invested time and money into all of Drywin's port and trade posts, dramatically increasing the shipping traffic. This helped the earls and brought in more money for the Farrakonin. That's one. Correspondence. Development. House. Pretty sure it's rebellion. Pretty sure I read this. Yeah. Okay.
Slow and silent.
See now what the flame has shown us?
Guildmaster staff. Slow. Hmm. The glass of this window is broken. Warped, knotted planks have been nailed over it. More golden folk. Now, you do have a spear. It is a reach. Let's see. Damage up. Crush from pierce to crush. Accuracy will go down. Weapon reach. Top by emerald green or between two wing-like protrusions. It's two-handed. Why not? I don't mind. 44, 63, 61, 59. What just accuracy dropped like crazy? 74 to 53. Ugh. That's actually annoying. Can we enchant some stuff? Beast or primordial? Let's do beast. Rat spell. Okay.
They'll never know I'm here.
I can do that. A simple test.
This where the other people are staying.
That's settled.
This kind of stealing. Nope. All right. Save it. Let's go talk to some people.